expense that we made outside of just kind of utilities and insurance and whatever. It seems like this contract labor. I was just wondering what that was. I guess that we approved.
Okay, can we approve the minutes from
Oh,
the June 6th first, and then we'll go to that.
sure.
Three.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Motion, we approve the minutes?
Thank you.
Second it.
All right. And then, let's see, so Valerie?
Yes.
Charlotte?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
And Melissa?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, item 3, discussion of possible action on items removed from the consent agenda. We remove financial report, and Melissa, your question again was what?
My question was, what is the contract labor on the financial report? It seems like the only thing we spent that was kind of out of the ordinary was $1,712. Yeah, I just thought the contract labor, I wasn't sure what that
Okay.
was. That, do we have to look back at one of the old minutes?
Right, it won't be in this one. I don't have that on me right now. I'd have to
Okay.
go back and dig and find out exactly what
Okay.
that was, but I can send you
It
all
was
of
probably something like the door, well, I was just wondering,
Well, about her.
was Brian saying someone was waiting to be paid and hadn't been paid yet at the June
Was
meeting?
that for the guy that did the mortar stuff?
Behind the sign, behind the lettering?
Well, because I know we've approved everything, but if you don't send an invoice, it's hard to get you paid.
Right, so I think that was it, that Brian, I feel like Brian was saying something about someone hadn't gotten paid yet, and so maybe that was what that was.
Well, and the difference was that 5-4.
Yeah, it was more than we had budgeted.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, okay, that was all, I was just curious.
No, I will definitely.
Should I
What's going on there?
move to approve it now, or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I move to approve the financial report.
I'll second it.
All right. Later. All right, then Melissa,
Yes.
Charlotte,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
and Valerie. Yes.
All right, item number 4, consideration and discussion regarding update from Brian Huckabee on the progress of the new library project. Well, obviously Brian is not here yet.
We can always come back to it.
And then number 5, consideration and discussion regarding next steps of the new library renovation, which those go hand in hand.
Yes.
I feel like we're in
We
kind of a-
absolutely, we can talk all
We
about
can
the
discuss
plans,
now.
the plans you want.
Okay, so Mr. Mertz met the library group staff here in June, walked through, talked, then went and did his designs. Sent the first design to y'all so that you could see his first design. Came and listened to them again to try to figure out, what needed to be done. This was his rework that I got Monday night that I sent you guys.
Has he done 2 site visits now then?
Well, the first one didn't really.
First one didn't count.
No, I don't know how it counts, to be
Okay.
honest with you,
All right.
Melissa. Because the time that he came the first time was not in a group setting. It
Gotcha.
was him and his person just came and walked through the building and talked to them. All I did was go down and unlock the building and let them inside, and then I went and set my car. So he really didn't have much discussion
Okay,
at that point.
gotcha.
And then the one when he came with the plans and then they sat down and to look at everything in July was that Tuesday before we met, we were supposed to have our meeting, but we didn't know he was coming until last minute. And so then I sent an email to the Friends of the Library people that are the 2 representatives from them, Brian and I, of course, and then the 2 representatives from the city and 2 representatives from the library board. And so there were, I think, 8 of us here that day. And I think,
We didn't have a quorum, that's all I cared about.
yeah. And they kind of sat down with the plan, staff did, and said, these are the things we like, these are the things we don't like. How can we change this? What can we do different?
So I have a question about the little vestibule at the front. So it's like you walk in the door and there's a wall. So is that tell me the thinking behind that, like vestibule and walking in the door.
This is something that our architect kind of put in there, and I don't know a whole lot more, but I will say, just from a little bit we've used the building, I know part of the concern was to help create a buffer between all the cold and the heat and dirt that comes in to kind of help keep it contained before you enter the main collection. And I will say, especially like Old Settlers Day when we've had it open, there is a lot of dirt to clean up after. Like, there's a lot of sand down that road.
I guess my question was like, is there a way to make that vestibule just like all glass encased so that you, when you walk in, you kind of see an open space? Because it seems like that genealogy wall.
It depends on how much wall there's gonna be
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Well, and that could be easily a place to put posters, but I know this is a window, and I think we were looking at doing like a glass door, so at least there's a wall of glass.
Uh-huh, yeah.
But it is good for genealogy to be kind of close. We would like to have at least one window for security reasons. But if you look at the study areas, they're not handicap accessible. So we intend to
need
use
a
genealogy as a
handicap accessible.
but also being able to dim lights. So if we have other needs, we'll be able to accommodate.
One of the
all
things I
kinds of
remember Becca saying was
Yes.
that with telehealth, there's not really a private space to do a telehealth appointment.
And so a study would work, or the,
A study or the genealogy, depending on if it's a person that could use the study versus somebody that would need to use the genealogy room.
yeah, I guess my thought was like, I wondered if these things could be like flipped over here and then have the vestibule just be all glass.
Small, well.
Or be
even smaller.
like all glass walls, or smaller or something. So, like, put that over here, like genealogy there, and then the small rooms there.
Which
Instead.
that's the way it was on the original plan.
That's true,
Everything
yeah, and
was
so maybe
flat.
that's why it got moved back, because there was a reason. Like, I don't know. But
I think he was thinking with the circulation desk there, that area would be more kind of contained, but I don't know that.
Maybe get people in,
Yeah.
get people in the building and in front of the containment. I would think it would help a little bit with security and things aren't just, the door's not opening and grabbing and, I mean, I don't know that.
Right, I don't know exactly what he was thinking. I do, because that's something that the architect inserted.
yeah. I was just thinking, like, yeah,
But I
just
do
walk
like
in the
that.
walk in the wall and walk in the door and there's a
There's a
wall.
wall.
It was something that I didn't like
I
either,
didn't
but
really
when
like
he
it.
explained why, it
That's
kind
a
of
good-
was like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
This,
you know more than I do.
this sticking out here after I walked in is annoying.
To have that little inset.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah.
You could scoot the door to the end of that, I guess.
Yeah.
So it doesn't stick out. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, instead of the door being here, have the door be here,
You're right.
flush with the genealogy room.
With the genealogy room. Well, and he's got a lot of these little inset things going on. And he
Yes.
talked about how it would look on the ceiling, and he talked about how it would look on the floor, and I was
Right.
like,
I'll
it
just
was-
trust
There's
you.
so much
No,
going
no.
on.
And I get you're doing it as a design aspect too, and so therefore I understand that. But I get there's still some things that need to be probably fixed on this. I know there's some things that the staff stated that they would like to see some things changed.
Yeah.
What kind of things what does the staff think about it?
I think they think they're getting closer. They think he's getting closer. But I know that like this curved, they would like maybe to have that straight. It's a bench that's only like 18 inches. And I'm sure he was trying to mimic this little stage area for
And
story time.
So that it can be a bench to sit and
Yeah.
watch this
Yeah.
or sit and watch that.
Yeah. And if it's little toddlers in this area, then it's like a good place for parents to sit and be able to manipulate both areas, you know what I mean? They liked the idea of a storage area up above. That's what those stairs are for. That was something, because you're gonna have that space up above that's not getting used. Because these ceilings were gonna be 10 feet ceilings? I can't remember all the numbers, I'm sorry.
these, I don't think it would matter, but this one would, and all
Yes.
of this would.
Right.
Yes, yes. But, you know, I'm sure it's to give some variation of size for that big space and to help with the noise and to help with the.
Yeah, any bump out, any variation helps kind of reflect sound. And I think probably over here, these squares are probably kind of mimicking the squares you have to have
Right.
around these columns that are there. And I know that your storage area is probably limited somewhat by, there's, you know, a square footage that you can have before you have to sprinkle it, or, you know, before
I
you
had
add
thought
a
about
second
that.
exit out of it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there's some code triggers with other things. Melissa, you were asking about that RTU sitting outside this.
Yeah, what is that? What is RTU?
That's an RTU's rooftop unit, but
Oh.
because there's ductwork, I'm guessing that's ductwork just inside that storage. I bet that unit is feeding this half, and the units over here are feeding this half. And I mean, it would be sightlier, you know, to have them all tucked in the corner, but
Sometimes
you'd
you
lose
can't.
a lot of, makes it less efficient to run ductwork a long ways.
Further, yeah.
You can't stick it around the corner in the parking lot.
So if it says a rooftop unit, can it not be on the rooftop?
It can't
can't
because of that roof
They're
being
both
good.
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was wondering, like, can they build up a structure that's flat on the roof that
And I
could
think it-
hold it? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if that would look ugly or what, but like there
Yes,
might
they
be
used
able to
be
build
on top, didn't they?
some sort of
Platform.
platform.
It would be kind of big. I mean, I don't know how big this unit is, or that's,
I don't like them on top because they leak sometimes.
On top because they leak, yeah.
you do have to provide a certain amount of area around it to service it.
Ventilation.
So then you might have a really big platform. And then that might facilitate people just getting on the roof. I don't know who would get on that roof. They're both round. I wouldn't do it.
Well, and it's like peaked. It's like peaked in places, and so it's like, I don't know even how. And they liked that
So you're
the,
saying you didn't like having that right there because, like, if you wanted to have an outside space and have stuff, then you don't want an air conditioning unit right there.
exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's worth it to ask about a platform on the roof, but I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think that the roof is going to be an option,
Yeah.
but I don't know that it could get moved elsewhere. I don't know. I just don't know. And that does make sense why you would need them at both spaces.
So where's the rooftop unit for the other space? You're
I think
saying?
there's units in this.
Maintenance room.
in this
Oh,
Here.
With that mechanical.
huh, okay. They're just not on the picture here, I guess.
That's what I saw on the second floor. Was there a second floor plan?
Oh,
Oh, you're saying that,
Printout like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
oh, so you're saying they're in the second floor.
That's where I.
Oh, interesting.
And
So then I'm wondering, can it not be on just the north side of the second floor over here? You know, and
I don't know. I just know he said he could run the storage over those areas.
There it is.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, and it would go from this pole over, is what I understood. Is that what you understood?
Maybe, there was a lot.
He
going
said
on.
there's gonna be a ridge in there though that's like short, that's
Right,
gonna be
that's-
like 3 foot or so. That you'd have to duck to go under.
See, and that's where I'd have to go
Because
back
the
and
way
look, 'cause I thought
those-
that's the reason we
Yeah,
had it
right
run
here,
that
yeah,
way,
I
was
got
to avoid the weird beam thing, but.
Because we talked about running it just one side, and he said,
Right.
okay, well, it'll be better to run it that direction because of
Yes.
the way the roof line goes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I sat there and listened that whole day, tried to just
so could
take it all in.
for sure.
Let's start with some of it goes over my head.
But I know, like, they liked the idea of the the makerspace, the Discovery
Yes.
Center, having it where it opened up into that big area, because they could actually, work out of that room into the other room for the 3D printers. If you haven't seen those being used, they are unreal, and they're huge. And I mean, just having the space to be able to use that with the students and, patrons of the library, that would be amazing. But they, that the wall here, some of them thinks there might need to be a gate, across there and across there for some,
A gate where?
across at the
Circulation
back at
desk.
the circulation
Oh, like
desk.
a little swing.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, to provide some, just so that,
So the little kiddies don't run in there. and
Yeah, we
hide.
have a couple who like behind there. Another thing that they had suggested is maybe that little end bump out on the circulation desk go away, so that a copier could maybe, a printer or copier could maybe sit there. They don't want that whole space low, but they don't want the whole space high either. But maybe do the higher on the left and the right of the lower space, and then the curved space maybe do desk height, so that somebody could potentially sit there to work at a desk versus at a high counter.
I like that, because then it's more open
Yeah.
too, it just seems more inviting.
Yeah,
Should be a lot of traffic here.
exactly.
Yeah, there will be. Yep.
Exactly. Well, and if it was still the same counter height, they still could see over it, but it also would kind of protect the back of their monitors or computers or whatever. The one thing that was added was the along the window at the front, the long kind of a bar looking space. Thinking some, bar stools and a space there for people sitting and looking out the windows and enjoying that
That's
space.
where I like to sit at Panda.
I know.
Yeah, I think that's.
But I felt like staff was much more complimentary after we worked it the first time. But we're still not there. But I think we're getting closer.
Yeah, I was just, like, when you walk into the Stillwater Library, right? Like, you walk in and you're in this big open space. And that was part of, like, I was like, oh.
I think they have a vestibule.
They do have vestibule, but it's all glass.
I can only think of pamphlets.
Right in the inside door.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I see too. I'll have to go walk in again.
I never thought about
What it looks like.
I was like, here.
Well, like, which door are you talking about going in? Like, under the
awning.
You go in and then there's
It's like
like,
a big
it's like
glass
glass doors
rectangle.
and then
then
glass
another set of
doors.
glass doors.
And then
Okay.
it's open.
Okay, gotcha. So we also have the person who had done the mural on the side of the building, who is wanting to do some kind of art to go in to represent that mural and the history of Perkins. And so
Just make it on a-
that might be a
Make
space.
it on make it on a canvas
Yeah,
or
that's
something
what we
that we
said.
can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It either could potentially go up high on the
Move it
I
or.
contacted her and she's able.
Oh,
Who is the person?
I've been in contact with her. She's likes the idea of doing it on a large canvas. I think she's, in her mind, she's thinking about wallpapering it, but I'm like, if we had installed grommets or something too, we
Right.
could hang it, we could move it where we needed to display it.
Right.
And if we absolutely needed the space or something, we could roll it up or, protect it and then shift it.
I mean, like, okay, I don't want to sound like, super critical, but
Right.
it's not like the most, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's history.
it's history. It's
It is.
history, and it's local, right? But it's not like a priceless piece of art in the sense of like someone who didn't have connection to it. You know what I
It
mean?
is kind of precious to the older
Yes.
people, right?
Yeah.
And there's lots of people.
People that had added to it or had done.
Well, has their names down at the bottom of
Right.
it. And I get it. I mean, I get it. There is, but we were thinking if it's on campus, then we've got some availability to put it in different places.
And then what if her second piece isn't pleasing to the majority
I
that,
thought she was going to duplicate it.
That is the goal, but it also has been a little bit since it was originally created.
When was it painted? Do we know?
I cannot remember.
When I was a lot smaller.
Okay.
So it's been
A long time.
a bit.
Yeah.
She's not that old.
I mean, I don't think so.
I can't remember when they did it.
Maybe 20, 30.
I'm guessing late 80s, or is that what you're thinking?
I don't know.
Kid's only 40
Early
years.
90s?
I was like 20, 30 maybe.
It's nothing.
Well, like, I base thing off when my husband's parents were alive. And that's what I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or late 80s, I guess would be 30s, 35s.
But anyway, there would be some places because of the ceiling height and different stuff that we could accommodate, but anyway.
Okay.
I know one of the things they were talking about,
On this wall.
moving that door out straight instead of having it inside.
Yeah, on the height of
That
it.
may be because
Is
of
the
sound.
genealogy room?
It helps everything. I mean,
But something like that
and it
helps.
helps protect these doors.
This is
Swinging open.
right, because like this is all
Swinging
short.
into the,
And
This is all tall.
That's true.
What's going on with
and
that?
it also creates
This
this
is tall.
kind of a privacy nook for whatever.
Does that go all the way up to the?
Well, he had cabinets there in the first plan, and then they decided they didn't want cabinets
What's in,
there.
what's in here?
This is that community room, meeting room, it's like this room.
They're like, this looks like.
So this area, so you're saying this area doesn't have, go up to the fifth floor?
Not all the way to the.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it did. This part does.
And it very well may have now that they have redesigned.
So, I mean, I like that wall just for,
Yeah.
to keep,
Because I know he's told
to
me.
corral whatever they're putting
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Okay,
Sure, but
okay,
then I'm
sure.
looking at these.
Exactly, or if you were doing, like they had a thing in here Monday night where the students showed off their 3D art and their other art that they've done this summer, and they had tables like around the perimeter.
Mhm.
That was perfect.
Mhm.
But one of the things they wanted to add was the projector and a screen.
Easier, is that just?
Oh, so
That was
one
something
of the
that was
things we
important
were-
to staff.
Yeah, kind of talking about is like what kind of tables you
Display.
use. Those are little plastic tables. That's like the exact dimensions for that. I think those just kind of got stuck there to describe like why that's a bump out.
I see.
But I'm also like, I don't know if I love that where a kid can hide.
Oh,
But like Mallory said, it helps with sound, and I didn't realize that.
See, that could be part of it.
And I was telling Linda, the doors, if you have something, because
Protect.
those doors are recessed into that room,
Yeah.
the doors can swing open without getting into the circulation space outside the
Something
room
like that, less likely of getting.
Protecting them,
Smack.
yeah.
or hitting somebody.
Or hitting someone coming in and out, you're right. Which they talked about putting glass in those doors as well as glass in these doors.
oh,
Even.
mm-hmm. So this storage is where you would put, like, if you wanted to put the chairs up in there.
Right,
Yeah.
Where those
chairs,
could go.
tables,
Tables.
anything that can't go in the
Rugs.
attic, anything with glue, anything that could melt. Any book spines, you know, because sometimes we have the leather stuff now. Well, all that we have in storage now would be obviously in the collection, but as time happens, hello. Okay, write that down.
Better late than never.
Hey, we love it.
You did great.
We're hoping you can help answer
Why
some
don't you
questions.
stand right out there and tell us? Well, sometimes I have a hard time hearing him.
Yeah, she was stealing questions I can't answer.
Low.
It is.
What do you need to know?
When are they
He's
starting?
your pro. I said, you're the pro at all this.
Charlotte said, when are they starting?
So I guess we were just talking about ceiling heights. So the main stacks, this area, does that go all the way up to the rafters? And then this part is lower? Okay. That's kind of what I thought. So I thought this is gonna be your big open space.
I think that's like 14 feet high,
Okay.
close to it, and that lower area will be 9 feet.
And the lower area.
I couldn't remember if
That
it
makes
was 10 or
sense.
9, but I knew it was lower.
That's what that dashy line, oh,
That's what the
You
dashy
asked me
line
what
is?
that dashy line is, that's what that
That's what
dashy
the
line
roof,
is.
where the roof,
What's the dashing line?
where it
Where
shows.
the ceiling drops down a
Drops
little
down.
bit from the
Ceiling drops.
rafter height to.
So this room here will also go up to rafter height. The big, what's it called, room, meeting room. The big meeting room is also rafter height, or it's not?
No, I think that one we'd probably keep down at that 9 foot.
Really?
Yeah, we talked about it.
What's the floor?
Is it like, is there like a reason to not go all the way up to the top? It's just more to heat and cool, or?
It's more heat and cool, and then you have more walls to finish. I mean, it kind of adds up, especially in a big room, but.
Because I'm just thinking, like, if you have a big meeting, like the one, okay, I keep comparing to the Stillwater Library, but the big meeting room in Stillwater, they'll have like a juggler perform or something like that, where they have, you know, or depending on what they have going on, like there may be things that you want to do where you want higher ceilings.
We had ropes in here the other day.
Yeah, and when we had our juggler and our rope thing, I mean, just what we've been doing is we just schedule them really early in the year and have it outside.
Yeah.
That way too, nobody gets, you don't pull a light down or
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know what
true.
else.
Well, we could think about 10 or 12 foot or something like that. I mean, it'd kind of be nice to see how budget shakes out on what we've got here, and then if we're like, oh, that looks good, then we can kind of go in and add a few more
A few more things.
bells and whistles.
That would be my suggestion is, you know, make that meeting room ceiling as high as, you know, you can with budget and all that.
See, and again, I don't know on the acoustical, I'm not saying no, I'm just saying on the acoustical, that's gonna be the noisiest room in the building.
And would the higher ceiling make
They're gonna have
it?
one.
I don't know. That's
Better
what I
or
heard.
worse?
Maybe.
Truss in it. They'd have one truss in the middle.
Down the middle.
Yeah.
And what's the height of the trusses?
They're right around 14.
Around 14.
Is that why?
So you could
Because
go.
this is centered to the beam.
None of us are really fond about this, but we understand the reason for it. But I don't like this jutting out. After I get in here and get to this door, I want to see something. So can you move that door down here or chop that?
No, that's glass. You've got glass in that window. That's why that door is there.
This is glass right here.
So if anything,
You have to shrink genealogy.
I like it like that. I think you're gonna
don't
come
think it's
in
gonna be
small
that big.
and then it's gonna open up.
Yeah.
I don't think it will feel
I
like
think it'll feel like.
enclosed or anything.
what did the staff think about the size of genealogy room now? Is it?
It is bigger than we anticipated, but like how we discussed too, having, because the current two study rooms are not the ADA compliant, but that one's gonna be that kind of study room, but also I'm looking at down the road, this thing is always gonna be full.
280 square feet,
Book club
quite a
in there,
bit.
and as long as we could get roughly like a meeting size table,
House is
book club, and then still have room for a
Should done here
computer
like 20 by 10.
and maybe that microfilm reader.
We could always,
A 20 by 10 room?
we could check.
About 16.
16 by, yeah, okay.
So where will the Library Foundation Board have their meeting?
Add a couple,
We will still,
add a couple.
Like me here.
We'll still have it.
Some footage
Oh,
in here,
okay.
add here,
They have to have
study
it.
down.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Even then.
Except that
won't take so much.
it's just gonna get you more space right here, which is not being used for
A
books.
lot of. I mean,
That's 208 square feet approximately, that room is. So that's pretty
I
big.
Agree, it's,
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, just to
I mean,
open
not by
it,
much,
to open it
yeah.
up here, just get you more room to walk around
right.
between these things. So 12 foot 9 by 16.8, that's like a master bedroom size.
Well, I still think, I mean, I don't like the little offset either. I still think if we square it across, and then if we need more room, add it to this side of the room. Shoot.
Instead of coming out that far
Then you can push the study rooms down a little bit.
and push them that way.
So just,
You could have some, like a stack or book display or something here in the middle if you scooted that back.
I just don't like that sticking
I don't know
out.
if you need more stacks.
I don't like
If they
that
have more
sticking
stacks, then we know what to do.
Well, that's what he's saying. He said move it over like this, and then move this over just a smidge.
If you think you need to.
But we talked about doing a miniature version of the book sale. And that way if they do walk out, I don't here as much.
It would be interesting to know how big our genealogy room is right now.
Oh, it's a closet. I haven't measured it,
Table
no.
and 4 chairs and
So
everything.
what
You
makes
can't fit
it,
anything else in that
what
room
makes
right
it a
now.
genealogy room? Is it the computer that's there,
So
or
it's got the
there?
microfilm reader, it's got the yearbook, oh, okay.
So this is 20 feet wide.
22 by what?
You can just shoot
It's
it.
20.
20.
I just shoot it from here then.
Newspapers, I'm trying to think.
Did you say 20 or 22?
Those things will be stored
It's
in
20
there
across.
somewhere, and
Yeah, I mean, really, I think the microfilm.
That's 32
is-
feet.
has been done for a long time.
20 by 32.
Did a grant or.
And this is
Take out the square footage.
28 by 28, 28
digitize that.
Journalism,
by
yeah, so you
28
could sit
more.
there and scan it in.
So it's about the same.
I'd like to have a computer that's just a designated genealogy computer. For like
640 feet.
Ancestry.com, there's so many now, but I'm also
This
looking
one
at in
was
the long term,
784.
as we outgrow taking all of our Oklahoma
What's the
history
ceiling
and
height
local
there?
history and stuff and
This
putting
is
it
9.
Nine.
in there, so it's all local Oklahoma.
This right here.
Yeah,
Families, yearbooks.
okay.
So did staff have any new input, or did they like all the,
There's some things that they thought that they kind of would like this straightened out here. That curve
This,
doesn't mimic this curve. They talked about taking away this bump out right here on the end of that and be able to put a printer there.
You're doing, this is 700,
Yeah,
This
about.
room, so you know, this
Yeah.
room slopes from 7'6" up to 9 foot.
It is weird.
So 9 foot is a pretty tall ceiling.
It's not as claustrophobic as.
A trick-roper can get in here.
You just have to stand in the middle.
Well, actually, yeah, we put it like off over here in between fans.
But
away from
it
the
is
sink.
super handy.
Yes.
But she thinks that room is small, but 640 square feet is a lot. Being genealogy, oh, well, that wasn't the genealogy room. I was looking at the genealogy room.
208.
Make this bigger than
Is
the
that what
last
you're
one
saying?
when we switched them. And if we are gonna have that attic storage, could we go ahead and take away that storage and just make that a little bit longer?
Because he made the workroom
That
bigger.
way we've got, right, he did make the workroom bigger, but also,
She kind of wants to make her office bigger and take that storage upstairs.
how much storage you,
well, cause it made more sense too when this was a little bit shorter. 'Cause it was
That office
wider
is
and
only
it's just got a
96
very
square
narrow
feet about. It's not very
space
big.
anyway. And could we, I don't know how the stairs are built, could we actually have like a cutout there so we could put like filing cabinets back in there?
most codes don't like you to store anything
Oh, okay.
under stairs,
So we don't-
but it's something we can cut a hole after.
Or don't they want you to store anything under stairs?
I said most codes don't like you to store
Like, oh,
anything under a staircase.
why, what's the?
You know, like, I don't know.
And if you do store something there, it's all gotta be fire rated.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that, but you stated something about it a while ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we could revamp that. So I'd say whatever we come up with here and then what your staff has, if you can.
That was most of it. I think, Becca, we've gone back and forth about extending it, but then she's like, we could just put tables. So really just having a bank of cabinets the way it is, I think looks pretty good. Does it make more sense? Just because where they're gonna have the windows here, the staff was like, they see themselves more working here, so they would be able to see out. Would it make more sense to put the kitchen sink and everything just for piping? I don't,
Yeah, I mean, the closer it is that way, the cheaper.
Where
it
the
is.
toilets
If you
are.
have a personal preference on that, that's.
I'd say, yeah, scoot it back over there. And then, I don't know if this is a nitpicky detail too, could we put this door over here and put a window there instead?
That way she at
So
least
you'd be
could
able
see
to-
out into the stacks area to
Do you
some
want a door
extent.
and window, or do you just want glass on the top of that door? I mean, if you like the door location, you can just put glass on the top of it.
So which way is your desk is right, like here's your chair.
Kind
Here's
of
your
where it's
desk.
formatted right now.
If you move your door down here, you'd have to then move your desk.
You know, we were thinking that probably had the kitchen
Storage.
people with this, they
Some of those are
kitchen.
Right, that's like tiny stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
they
that
were
matters.
kitchen.
In the bathroom. But that might be a good one.
Exactly.
room size.
Oh, and then you weren't sure.
Honestly.
Like a column that goes all the way
Many
down.
times
is
they
that just
wanna
the-
have
the-
snacks.
And I would think they still could, because they're gonna have access from the back of the library instead of in the front.
This dash line is what's,
Could bring stuff in.
You know, I think he's just trying to go.
No, it's one of those that's hard to know.
Yeah.
Prefer just have square.
And honestly, if they're wanting something with a kitchen, a master center,
Need a vacuum.
but it doesn't have a stove, it just has a
9-foot ceiling coming out and then the wall line step.
and a sink. I think that's all it has.
Yeah, I think it was up to we bring a crock pot or something.
okay.
Right.
It's kind of cute here, but he ran it through, you know, this glass opening.
Charge for the leisure center now.
There's a few things that are kind of nice details, but they come too.
Is it like a light cove or a?
Yeah, it could be a light coat, but there's enough of a shelf there too. I think they could set artwork and stuff.
I may be wrong, but I think
I have 5 feet face up there.
thinking.
Is any of it for ductwork?
So what is the library gonna charge for this? What, like, we could charge that much.
I don't know whether you do or not.
I'm thinking the library board will have
He's got side lights, his doors.
for after hours.
I think it's
But do we charge for it now?
to make it pretty and make it functional, but not go overboard with
Other people that use this city.
anything like that. It just starts adding up. I know it's stupid. Nice.
This will become a city.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying.
Well, I'm just telling him that he's missing this, because
Speaking of city stuff, did you notice they changed the water buffalo on the sign to a bison?
Yeah. I don't mind
That's
having
great.
that.
They fixed it.
Instead of
not glass.
When I saw it at first, I was like, that's a really cool sign, except that's a water buffalo.
Just a double glass door.
because I don't know, visually, I mean,
Maybe he came up from the river.
I think it was the graphics they had, I don't know.
They just Googled buffalo.
I know, exactly.
how visible you need to make it.
It's sobbing down there.
I don't know.
I think glass is probably
We're talking about budget.
Program. Yeah.
Budget.
And doing glass doors.
Glass doors where? For,
Oh, sorry.
Iceland, right next there, here.
oh,
And not
yeah.
necessarily glass panels, but glass doors instead.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
I kind of explained to John when we met him that if we have an option, we'd rather spend a little more money at the very front.
Yeah.
Yeah,
High ceilings, you know, and spend a little less.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
So
so speaking of high ceilings, so the genealogy room, what, would it have low ceilings, high ceilings? How does that work?
with that, we would probably put a low ceiling in there. So around genealogy would just have, the walls would go
All the way up,
way up.
and then the ceiling in there would just be low.
Yeah.
Would they do that for the study things too, or are they open? Are they open above ceilings, above study?
Those, I think,
I
we
don't know.
talked walls going up, but I was kind of envisioning above study and genealogy, even just have recessed shelving, because you can have, you know, if you have 9-foot ceiling heights in here, you can have 14 outside. So you can have 5 feet of wall looking at you, so you either hang artwork that sits there forever, or you can put,
The books nobody likes.
well, a lot of the books that nobody uses, but you're not gonna get rid of.
Right.
You got nice collections.
How do you get up there?
Might wanna hang on.
Just have,
One of those cool libraries.
Yeah, ladders, that's what we said.
I love those libraries too.
a loft would be fun.
Otherwise, just, I think it'd be extra cheap storage that you might get to once every 3 years.
Exactly.
Even if you just put cute artwork, collectible stuff, it's way up there, nobody can get to it.
But she talked about there be some ledges along the way and light up or light downs and light things, yes, yes.
I think he's
He
gonna,
said it would wrap.
I'm That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You just don't want to get so much stuff that looks like Eskimo Joe's.
That's what I was
That's
thinking,
okay.
like,
Thank you.
yeah.
I think
It's-
these little-
and it's all dusty and,
I think just going down this one wall is enough and kill
Yeah, I don't
kill
do
it
it.
here.
Yeah.
The programming room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if we make a few more little adjustments here, then I think we can get him to kick out a few more of those 3D models of what the new layout is, so everybody can kind of see what he's trying to do with some of these details, and then we can say yay or nay. Because every one of those details too costs more money.
Exactly.
You just build a straight flat wall all the way up, as opposed to
Right.
offsetting another wall
Right.
and making a ledge there.
Right.
It all adds up.
It does, you're right.
I think we spend enough up front. I mean, he's kind of got a cute layout here, you know, this stuff, you know, we can spend some money on the desk and the amenities here and the high ceiling. And then, you know, finishes like the flooring, and then cut out some of the unneeded details that we could use that money.
Something you could always do later if you wanted to.
what are some of the unneeded details you mean?
Well, we were just talking the little light coves and offset walls that we don't have the 3D pictures he brought, he took back with him.
Gotcha.
But after he updates this, I'll see if he can spit those out and we can share those digitally, and then everybody can see everything that exists. And we can look at some of those details. 'Cause like I said, other than costing money, some of those details we just may not like. So. But I think. from
Well, I'm
what we-
excited. I like the having just all of this big open space with the kind
I
of.
think it's gonna show grandness to it, that otherwise, if we go back to that conceptual plan and the way that was boxed in, I just feel like it closes it up so much.
I like this plan a whole lot more than where we were 6 months ago.
Exactly.
I mean, that plan was kind of, could have been functional, but wasn't cute. And from where we went a few weeks ago to this, I like this, and I mean, most of what I like is, it seems like he's accomplished what the staff.
With,
So,
So wonderful.
with all this room here in this area, then you won't ever take the kids back here, the
Well-
preschool, I mean,
Depends how big of a story time room we've got. We talked about, because we've had some really big numbers this summer. I know the one you saw was on the smaller end because it's that time of year. But we've had easily 50 bodies in here this summer just for story time. And so we talked about splitting it up into 2 different times. But if we keep getting those kind of numbers, we may have to move the story time rug into the programming room just so we can accommodate more easily.
Well, or break up ages.
Exactly. But it's hard, we got so many sibling groups, and so we're like,
so you got a pretty big area there.
right.
Which I
it's a
don't,
pretty
I
big
don't,
area not to have any books in it.
well, and that's just it. He put all chairs there, but I don't see all chairs there, Charlotte. I see a rug.
She told
I
us they
see-
sit on the
yeah,
floor.
Exactly.
So the consensus is though to square up this little low wall here.
I think if we could.
So honestly,
That way,
I think
I do think
books
it's
could
cute, I do
even come
think
out, you know, out to
over
here.
time though, if we needed to
If
kind of.
functionality.
Straighter shot.
So yeah, if you have that low wall, you could put low
So that they
bookshelves in
can
front.
still have kind of
Or even like, we've got little storage cubes full of like little board books.
a,
Yeah.
still have it divided, but still use.
Or even if we had like the little, they're almost like little
There's
three
all these tables.
chairs,
Yeah.
even with covers.
I mean, we don't know.
I think it's cool.
You don't know.
Well,
Our opinions don't matter very much.
kids coming from after school,
Yeah,
I think will
exactly.
come and.
Exactly.
I do really love this dress because you've got so many different elements there where you're like, oh, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
thought about that.
Well, I told him to start thinking about the exterior walls so we can come up with some options, some besides EVIS. I still like the idea of doing some kind of metal. Still maybe do the brick wainscot with an architectural looking metal above it, not a metal bar.
Not our panel.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of it. But
ceiling heights, we can
That
still,
little bump out
it's
right
easy to
here.
change any day on that meeting area down to the
Did
last
you
minute.
tell him you wanted the rest of that room for your office?
We wanted to do this so they could put a copier.
Huh?
He's got that on there to reword this.
Well, and
Because that's originally, that's closer to how we had it last time. I know he's just trying to incorporate, because we had the storage room, but it was down here, but then the stairs there. And that's
So
why-
you're saying you don't need this storage room anymore if you've got this storage upstairs?
Well, and then they made this so much bigger, so that we could put, instead of having
shelving.
more cut up little rooms,
It's all
we could
open
actually
underneath.
put exactly what we need in there.
This is only 96 square feet
Yeah, it's
with that storage room out. That's not enough space at all.
As I said, it's just a little bit smaller than the one that's in there. But originally we did talk about having
Figure
a
out what we,
smaller.
what
I
we
do absolutely think this one needs to be bigger. Right, they were flipped, but like I
If
said,
that's
because
all
that,
P-Lam.
I know.
these were shorter, but this is so narrow. Because I was talking to Jen, I'm like, what are we gonna
Nice. They're so
put in there?
nice.
She's like, well, I can't put, that's not big enough to put the paper stacks.
So it's
You know, without
top-
turning
top
them, and she doesn't like
cabinets.
that. Because really that would just be,
You need
it's
good wood grains, but
not functional at
Yeah.
this size anymore. And she's like, if we could kick it out, and I was like, then it's not gonna fit,
This thing out here.
just to be able to get back, why, that's all, I'm like.
You need a bigger office.
These finishes,
And if it's
that's our
just
utility
needed out
space.
here, but knowing that we're not gonna be able to get another building in the future, it's really concerns.
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause
I mean,
don't know
we'll
what
keep you
we're gonna
forever,
do in the
but-
future. I mean, that's not fancy.
So that's all the big comments. We want to have him make these few changes, kick that back with some more details.
I think so, I think that's.
There at the front, maybe move that
Right.
genealogy.
I think
Yeah,
I-
the legal rooms.
Measure that genealogy room in there and see if how much bigger this needs to be.
Measure that room. I'll go with you. I've got a key.
But if you kick that genealogy room back a little bit, you could put some seating there.
Well, see,
Or you could
there,
put
you
a
could-
display, use put
Yeah.
display shelving, you could put,
Well, it seemed like staff liked the idea, that kind of, just an open area up there that they could kind of just make up. As time goes on and change displays.
yeah. You could have some bookshelves that are, can be moved in different places. Are all of these bookshelves that are here, are those all, the stacks, are those all
Yes.
movable? Or they're gonna be bolted down? Do you know?
I think that's
None of
something
them are
where it's
broken.
just been filler for right now, we haven't.
Haven't
like,
thought about that.
Solidified anything, because really, we don't have a table that's shaped like that. I think
Oh,
part of
okay.
this is just kind of filler to show.
Sure.
You could be able to see through the stacks to see a study room, or to see a computer.
Right.
Saying like, we won't have those chairs set up, it just, I don't know, that's kind of where I'm in my head, it's just to
Yeah.
show like where a
Just to
3D
show what
printer
it is.
could be, and.
Right, okay. Are the bookshelves that are in there right now, are they like bolted to the floor? Can you move them if you
No,
could
they're
move them?
just so heavy
Heavy
that
that
pushing
you're-
against each other, you're not, you
You're-
could
they're not
put your
going
full
anywhere,
body weight,
yeah.
it's not gonna do nothing. And if you would.
I was just thinking about like for future, like can the configuration be changed if you wanted to?
Love that, yeah, absolutely.
What's this about splitting between the outside and the inside?
Oh, you were asking the city attorney, about, that's in June's minutes, so that's from May's meeting,
I think
June's
we-
minutes, yes.
I think we just kind of left that
Yeah.
one hanging.
So Brian, I had a question about this
It's been
rooftop unit that's over here on
Yes.
the edge.
It's,
It's not there? What do you mean?
it won't be there.
It won't be there? Where will it be?
9.5 by 12.
We have condensers. My plan's always been to put like residential style systems in here. So we'd have condensers over here on the other corner. Kind of to the back so we can screen them off.
Plus a half a foot.
We've got attic space now.
You can put them in there.
We put the furnaces up there.
Okay.
We always planned to have some attic space, but if you saw the second
This
page,
is 208 and that's 108.
attic space legs.
Okay.
I don't
Because I was wondering about, like, if you could put it up on, like, build a platform and put it up on the roof, or,
You can put the units on the roof, but I guess early on, we kind of planned not to put anything on the roof.
yeah.
Because it's an old structure. It has been rehabilitated and it would handle it, but But then you got, when you put rooftop units on the roof, you make holes in your roof to bring the duct through, and then you're just inviting.
Other things.
Trouble.
Do you have any maintenance?
But since we have a second floor, you can just put it all up there and it'll be fine.
Okay.
So we'll still have a few mechanical units outside, but
They
they'll
don't have to
be,
be that big.
yeah, like I said, they'll be over at the other corner. Still be visible. but
Yes.
Have a better chance to.
About 100 square feet off when yours in there, which is a lot. I mean, if you wanted,
Fill it with
if you wanted to do that, might not need to widen it any.
Yeah, they may not.
So we still want to cut the genealogy.
I think we could, well, and
I
really
think-
even here, because we've got like the little computer desks, if it did shift over, it wouldn't really eat into any of the stacks if we did make it longer.
This one is 100 square, almost twice as big as this one,
The one we currently have.
and this is a little bigger because that's a.
But if you cut
I'd-
it back to match the vestibule, it would
Yeah.
take away from it.
I just
Probably
don't
make it like 12
finally I'm in there and then there's that
Square,
wall.
like 12.9 by 12.9. 48.
Does everybody want to cut that back? I think I'd like it better if there wasn't that little,
Jog.
that jog.
I think it would add to the grandness of the room.
Yeah.
That you could walk in and see it all and not have that. But, I mean, Valerie was explaining that every bump out, everything that he's got on here may help with acoustics.
Of course, all your books might soak up.
And
Yeah.
this protects those doors. We didn't know that. I mean, but she knows that.
I'm with Brian, I wouldn't spring for glass
Yeah.
on the sides, especially if the doors are open.
See, I don't know, is the glass door cheaper than glass panels? That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't know, but do you have to put one of those steel beams in the middle of it?
But if you saw his other set of drawings, he had glass panels on the sides, and these were full glass doors.
Oh, gotcha.
And he had a glass transom above, so it
Oh,
was
up
like
above,
a
too.
5,000.
Oh, okay.
Take away all the glass, put two doors that have glass on the top of them, so
Yeah.
you still have visibility through.
Right.
Well, so
I think
when
it
you
could
do
be-
your programming, you'll shut those doors because it's going to get loud in there, right?
Potentially.
Or, but when you're not doing programming, those doors might just be open all the time. Or you think they'll be
Which
closed?
they come and go some with even with programming because of,
Right. Just how.
Situations.
I can see them being closed too, just so Bree has time to set up. That way she could set up the
Oh.
night before or something, and then if she had to leave, it's ready for the next thing.
I was just
I'm
trying
not
to say,
opposed to
like,
it,
why do
but-
we care about them being solid doors if they're going to be open all the time? That's what I was just
Okay.
thinking.
oh, yeah.
You do see them being closed more than open,
Okay.
unfortunately. Again, and that's more just volume. Because this poor room during the summer has been going nonstop.
Yeah.
So was that number 4?
Yeah, we're 4 and 5
They
together.
were so happy.
Because we skipped 4 because
We
Brian
got a little
wasn't
blurry.
here. And so we've gone back to 4 and now we're back to 5.
All right, let me go
So
ahead and-
I think we're both.
We're gonna shift up.
This is gonna be 18 inches tall,
Yeah.
like
So it's a
sitting
bench. It's a bench.
but I'm trying to think of toddlers. Can they crawl up on 18 inches and fall off?
Well, I mean, little.
They could crawl up on a chair and fall off. I mean, it'd be like a chair.
Yeah, so it'd be about the height of the chair seat. So that parents could sit there.
Yeah. But enough to kind of keep them.
Corralled.
Maybe.
Let's see. All right, any other
What
discussion?
does the dotted lines mean going this way?
Those are the
That's
beams.
where the trusses are.
Trusses.
So
So the trusses
Did we decide to square
at
off?
the top.
Yeah, I think so.
Not make it big.
Are pretty over here, but not over here.
Exactly. And that's
right.
gonna be that
Well,
lower
Lower
ceiling.
ceiling.
I say use your best judgment.
That's what I
think if
understood.
you did shift it over, it wouldn't eat into any of the stacks.
Make it 14 by 12.
Well, do you want to kick it around with your staff for a
Yeah,
day,
sure.
because we don't want to arbitrarily just cut it and go on and then,
Right.
so.
Everybody, sorry, but Belinda will be here tomorrow. But feel free to throw your,
I
and
won't.
then I'll get it back with everybody.
Yeah, I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll be back Saturday. I'll talk to Britt.
Oh, that's
Becca.
true, yeah.
But Becca's here tomorrow.
We don't have to send this all to John tomorrow, so we
Yeah,
take
yeah.
a couple of days.
Okay, gotcha. First of next week. Okay, will do.
So when you see the architect again, is that gonna be kind of final?
What's that?
When you see the architect again, is that gonna be kind of final?
I think this will get us to probably the 35% in the process. Once we kind of establish the floor plan, then he'll start adding more details. We'll have to circle back, and the staff will have to give input on, like, cabinet layout, where they want openings for knee space, where they want drawers, you know, the final design for the big reception counter. There's gonna be a lot. It's probably gonna be 4 hours worth of discussion on how to lay that out to make it functional and then make it pretty too. So there's a lot of little detail things that'll have to be followed up. And then he's got the exterior to work on too, so.
So, Brian, I just had one thing, and would it be possible to, I mean, and this is kind of the way it was before, but instead of the genealogy room being there, be here, and the study space is there, that way when you walk in, and maybe this is all glass vestibule, I mean, that would be expensive, but that way you just walk into a grand room instead of walking into a wall, but I don't know.
Yeah, and that's, I think as soon as he published his first version and had it up here, I think everybody didn't like it.
Did like it, yeah.
No, they didn't. I think it was half and half. I think a lot of us thought the same thing. We just got so used to everything being back here,
Right.
but.
And maybe it's just because I'm not used to it yet. Maybe I haven't had enough time to sit with it.
I've been in like.
It's kind of grown on me that it kind of breaks up the front a little bit, so it's not, you don't walk in and it's just a huge open.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, it kind of adds a little mystique.
It also kind of protects the stacks from all the wind
I think
and
that.
the sun and all the
Oh,
things.
well, that's true. The sun from the windows.
So it protects that circulation of those materials by having some kind of divided space there, but I don't know.
Okay.
If we get past this, if he kicks out his little 3D things, it'll give us a better idea.
Of what it might feel like to walk
And
through.
then we see those, and then, I mean, we might, you know, everybody
back.
decide to revert back. We don't like it, but.
Makes sense.
But I think we can work it into where everybody will be,
We'll like it.
will like it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just,
And then we talked too last time about putting motorized shades.
Yeah, he did talk about trying to do
'Cause
something.
they're all worried
on
about
some
having
of
that,
them.
so much natural light.
Yeah.
And reading the books that, so we're thinking, we'll probably have to spend some bucks on.
You
some
mean they aren't gonna take those nice shutters with them? Those are nice
We
shutters.
like those nice shutters.
Nice shutters.
I'm thinking the city will lay claim to those.
I imagine they will lay claim to those.
Right.
Cost several $1,000s.
But we talked about maybe leaving the front ones open and maybe these on this side have some, I forgot, he did talk
Well,
about
and
that.
He had a lot of cute.
Let's wait and see how bad it is before we cover up those windows.
Well, they'd be motorized, so you can, in the morning, have them all shut down when you got the sun blaring, and then they can kind
And
of.
then in the afternoon, put them all
They can go
open.
up as the sun goes.
Because you're only talking about like from what, 10 to 12? And by that
Well,
point,
and that's direct light. I guess there's so much glass there, though, you still are gonna get a whole bunch of just indirect light all day.
right,
So I don't know.
right.
If we put a couple of cute awnings out there too, that'll help. So,
Now, those big tall ones are clear down here in this area, aren't they?
Yes.
I like pointing the kids into this corner to kind of direct their attention and the acoustics of reading from a corner, but I like that.
Because originally, see, he had that over here and we were like, can we maybe move to that corner?
Because we don't need a massive stage, but
like the little stage.
You know, they're gonna love playing on that like, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an 8 to 18-inch stage or what?
No, it's like,
2 low steps.
Two big steps.
2 low steps is what Becca had said.
One low step, and then she could sit down on the stage.
Well, I love all of this, like, I think, you know, they just made it much more streamlined and
They did.
better.
Except for having to have the third bathroom.
Yeah, the third bathroom.
Yeah, but he said it was
Because if we do have straight line here, instead of running,
All the way around.
I mean, it makes
yeah.
sense if it's here, it's just a straight shot, but
Yeah.
it's nice.
Mhm.
And even for all the middle schoolers after, we're gonna flood in.
Right.
It's easier to keep tabs on everybody.
And are these drinking fountains here?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Yes.
I didn't do anything.
thanks for bringing your tape measure.
Yeah.
You helped explain
You
it.
explained it, yeah.
You allayed our fears.
All right. I think we have taken care of 4 and 5 by backtracking a little. Don't you agree? Okay. Item number 6, new business, which I don't believe we have any.
Am I new business? I just
No.
moved. I just moved.
No.
I just moved and I feel like I need to relinquish my spot. I still want to be heavily informed.
Where'd you move? Really?
I don't want it to look bad on the Perkins Public Library Trust that a non-resident of Perkins is on your board. Also, it's now an hour commute.
Yeah.
Sure. For the meetings.
I understand that.
So.
Like it was before.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was always driving here
Yeah.
from work. So I will submit a letter before your next meeting, but I just thought you might need to be, like, new business, you might be looking for
So,
somebody to fill a seat.
do we need to fill all the seats? I guess is a question, like, because, I mean, I feel like our group is gonna kind of dissolve before too long.
Well, and I don't know. Well, I've had second thoughts that I think once we're in the new building, there's still gonna be need to find grants for new furnishings, because we don't wanna keep all those old shelves in the brand new building. So I think there's still gonna be a need for some help with further funding. So I don't know that we dissolve overnight, but
Well,
It is a whole
Outdoor
thing to dissolve a trust,
Like to
and we
see.
do need 5, so we don't have a.
we can go back to a
Okay.
meet every quarter kind of thing, and it's.
Got to have an odd number.
Right.
Well, Valerie, thanks for all your years.
Yes, definitely.
Expertise.
And your expertise.
I think it's been like 7 or maybe 8. I don't, longer than I would have thought. I just was interested in, hey, what's going on in that building? What are you doing? Can I get a tour?
You'll definitely get a call.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to have been assistant and have any assistance. I don't know if I have been. I've enjoyed it. I do typically ask to adjourn to go eat. I did eat a sandwich on my way here.
So I'm really ready to adjourn. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Perfect.
All right, Brian,
Yep.
Valerie,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Charlotte,
Yes.
and Melissa.
It was nice to have
Yes.
somebody with experience on the board, with
This is exciting.
education on the board.
Definitely.
Well,
Definitely.
I have really enjoyed
So
it.
have you moved?